welcome back to another lesson. This one is called Process of Trash.
So now, where does the trash from your home go? And does it disappear?
Okay, so you normally at home, what you would do is put your trash in a plastic bag and throw it outside. Maybe some of you segregate or separate the trash, but what happens to it after it? Okay, so we'll watch this video, do now, and we'll return at the other side of this video.
I'm here in New York City and I'm going to do a little experiment. For the next 30 days, I'm going to wear every single piece of trash I create. I'm going to live just like the average American, creating 4.5 pounds of trash per day. I'll eat, shop, and consume just like the average person does. I won't turn down any trash that's offered to me, from flyers and plastic bags to straws and cups. Why am I doing this? Because trash is out of sight, out of mind. Most of us throw it in the garbage can and we never think about it again. I want to know, what would it look like to hold on to every single piece of trash I create for an entire month?
Hey, welcome back. So the purpose for today is we will learn about the process of trash to be able to show 3 steps of methods solving decimals, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division problems, and explaining and comparing purification methods by picking out, using magnet, pouring, filtration, and sedimentation by using visible evidences, and specify solutions of problems in daily life about purification methods, together with speaking and writing to give data about themselves, their friends, and the environment around them.
Okay, let's move to the vocabulary. First one, a process, can be a verb or noun. I process the recycle process, or I process the noun, the process. We'll show you the process of the recycling system.
Second is a landfill, which is a noun. So landfills are used by the municipality to throw away all the trash. So the trash that gets collected from your house goes to a landfill. It's an area which is far away from people, and they generally just throw trash in that landfill and then cover it up with sand or soil.
We have magnetic, something that is attracted to something else, but has to be like steel or metal. So you will see there's some company who they use the magnetic to separate the trash.
Number 4 is separator. So a separator is something that separates 2 things. Okay? So the word magnetic and separator usually go together in the separation process. So when you have trash with plastic and metal, the magnetic separator separates or removes the metal from that entire collection. Okay, so separator means to take away.
And the last one, composter. Composter. This one is for the organic trash. So it's all the organic trash you put in a composter, and then you can make new soil, a healthy, no chemical soil. So in the organic, you only put all the fruit, vegetable, or the food that you don't eat anymore.
So here we have a decimal problem for you. So if the cost of a pack of cardboard is $10.50, a box of plastic bottle is $25.75, and a bag of steel is $45.50, find the total cost of 2 packs of cardboard, 3 boxes of plastic bottle, and 1 bag of steel. Okay? So what you need to do here is do 2 multiplied by 10.5, 3 multiplied by 25.75, and 1 multiplied by 45.5. Add the total and write the result. Okay? So do this at the back of your thinking tool.
Okay, so how to destroy the world is a very good anime. Was an award in 2009 about education. So how the human being, we waste and we destroy the earth.
Greetings. Today on How to Destroy the World, we're looking at rubbish. Here's a typical family and their horse. In early times, everything was reused, recycled, or repaired. There was no such thing as rubbish. Until meet Cuthbert Skip.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present my new invention, the bin?
What's it for?
You fill it with all the things you don't need, things I call rubbish.
Everyone loves putting rubbish in the new bins. Of course, once the bins are full, they have to be emptied into bigger bins. And then even bigger bins. Once the land is full, there's a brief flirtation with recycling. But it didn't last, so we filled up the sea. When the sea is full, someone has a brainwave, space is empty. It will make the perfect bin.
What's that twinkling over there?
That, son, is the Tin Can Nebula.
Is that the Milky Way, Dad?
No, that's the White Goods constellation.
Our old camper van's up there.
Oh, a garbage eclipse.
Oh, a rubbish shower. Make a wish.
I wish for good health and a new car. Ow! Rubbish storm! Run for your lives!
And that's how rubbish destroyed the world. Excuse me. Mind how you go.
So here we have another video. This one is taking a look inside a trash factory. Okay, so take some notes here. They will help you in your thinking tool.
Each year, Joe Citizen discards more than half a ton of garbage. Everything from empty pizza boxes and eggshells to broken dishes, appliances, old tires, and the kitchen sink. Worldwide, that's almost 1 billion tons of stinking trash every year. And somehow, all of it needs to be either recycled or otherwise disposed of. So, how do they do it? It's 6 a.m. in the San Francisco Bay Area, and Mike Abate and his refuse-wrangling colleague John Fuston are starting their weekly garbage collection round. For most of us, remembering to put out our trash bins is the end of the story. But in fact, it's just the beginning of an extraordinary epic journey. A few years ago, strong men had to wrangle your garbage into the back of their truck. These days, a robot arm takes over that duty. One truck for recyclables, another for the truly trashy. Thanks to these robotic refuse collectors, Mike and John can empty 600 bins every trip. And once they're full of trash, the trucks head for a delightful spot known as the Davis Street Transfer Center. Trucks carrying waste for recycling deposit their load here. To you and me, it just looks like rubbish. But to the discerning eye, there's gold in them there hills. Each truckload is worth hundreds of dollars, but no one is going to pay for it in its present state. First, these vast mountains of trash need to be separated into the various components of paper, metals, plastics, and glass. Doing that by hand would require a small army. So it's a good thing they have George Atrastane and a friendly garbage monster known as the Single Stream Recycling Facility.
It's pretty incredible. It's noisy, it's dirty, it's very unglamorous, but it's a fun place to be.
George's smelly monster is a state-of-the-art garbage sorting machine. Housed in a building that's barely 300 feet long, it contains almost a mile of conveyor belts. Constantly fed by loaders, it can sort over 300 tons of waste every day and transports the remaining waste to a team of operatives who grade the plastic into various bins under George's eagle eye.
This is our container aisle, and it's a fun, noisy, very unglamorous place to be, but most of our staff actually prefer to be up here because the pace of work is brisk, and there's always a chance of finding someone else's nugget, something fun and exciting.
Once George and his team have finished having their fun, the waste must be prepared for sale and transportation, so it's fed into these high-powered baling machines, which turn everything into identically sized cubes. Each of these bales of paper is now worth around $200, while this bale of aluminum is worth almost 10 times as much. Thanks to their uniform shape, they can be easily lifted with standard forklifts and loaded onto trucks, which will carry them off to start a new life as a pizza box or a coffee cup. But of course, some garbage is just garbage. This stuff is no good to man or beast, so it's about to be sent down into a trashy hell from which nothing returns. This is what George and his chums call the pit. It's huge, it's noisy, and it stinks. It's as deep as a 4-story house and the size of a football field. Every week, this monstrous cavern swallows up the waste from over 1 million people. The garbage is heaped in at an extraordinary rate. But where does it go? Underneath the pit is a never-ending line of massive 18-wheeler trucks, which park beneath an opening, allowing a combination of bulldozers and grabbers to fill them up. No sooner has one truck been filled to the brim with stinking trash than another appears ready for loading. Each truck carries 5 times as much garbage as a dump truck. And once they've accepted their load, they head for the burial ground. "31 miles outside of San Francisco, the trucks finally arrive at the Altamont landfill site. Right now, it's like the barren landscape of some cold, unfriendly planet. But today's landfill is tomorrow's golf course. Stuck underground in various parts of California sits 1.2 billion tons of waste. The massive basin currently being filled has been lined with clay and a huge impermeable membrane made from high-density polyethylene and geotextile. This lining means each basin acts a bit like a giant plastic container, preventing the waste from contaminating the surrounding soil and water table. Almost half of this waste is organic material, like chicken legs and rotten tomatoes. And as it decomposes, it generates potentially explosive gases. What's more, any trapped air can cause potentially dangerous subsidence. So to remove the air and make the trash good to build on, it needs to be squashed. And that's a job for the lords of the landfill, a team of enormous bulldozers and compactors. With over 7,700 tons of waste arriving every day, they must work quickly. First up is the compactor. With a pressure of nearly 40 pounds per square inch, its 50-ton wheels act like giant rolling pins, crushing the waste into solid mass. Next, it's the bulldozer's turn. They cover the waste with a layer of soil and recycled car upholstery known as auto fluff, which helps to seal in the smell and deters scavenging animals. Finally, everything is covered with a permanent layer of soil. But that's not quite the end of the story, because even this buried waste is put to good use. As the rubbish rots, it gives off valuable methane gas, which is harvested by these wells, which are scattered across the site. The methane extracted feeds a gas turbine, which produces enough electricity to power over 6,500 homes. What's more, there is also a pilot project to turn some of the methane into liquid natural gas, which will eventually fuel the city's fleet of refuse trucks. So next time you leave your bins outside of the house for collection, take a moment to ponder the incredible journey it's about to take. And remember, everything you throw away began life underground. Thanks to landfill sites like Altamont, it all ends up back there. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust.
So where does your trash go? We had this question at the beginning. So here you see the pie. So the blue one, landfills. So 52%, so over 0.5% goes to the landfills. Then another quarter goes to recycling centers. So only a quarter goes to the recycling center. And then green waste to energy plants, so the composter. And then 8.9% to the composter.
Okay, just a little bit of info here. This graph is from the US. So if you go to other countries, this graph can change. Okay? So in a country like Japan, the recycling and waste to energy plant percentage is higher. Okay? Even in Europe, the recycling is much higher. The waste to energy is lower. But if you go to other countries, poor countries, they don't have enough funding to set up recycling centers. So the landfill percentage is very high, sometimes 60 to 75% as well. Okay? So it is, there's a movement going on to increase recycling centers everywhere and to reduce landfills.
So you see example of landfills. So it can be on Earth, on some lands, in the ocean, even in space, and on some other beaches.
So now they're actually, in a lot of countries, throwing trash into the oceans is now made illegal. So companies which are doing that have a heavy fine. And there's an effort being made to increase recycling plants.
And here they have two solutions. They bury it or they also burn it. That's why you have a lot of air pollution as well, because all of this trash, they can burn it and then you have a lot of smoke and the smoke goes in the air. Then here, example of recycling center. Yeah, all the process, the car comes, put in the factory, they recycle everything, and then they make new things with it.
So here we have an animation on the separation process. So if you, as a user, are able to separate your trash, then this entire process can be avoided. But unfortunately, with 7 billion people, it becomes difficult. So this is how separation takes place. As you can see, step number 2 and step number 3, 4 require human intervention. So they separate the cardboard and the paper because it's a little difficult to remove paper from plastic using machines. But after that, once you get to number 5, 6, and 8, it's quite easy to separate metals because of magnets. And the magnet for steel is different than the magnet for aluminum. So the steel bars are attracted to number 5, and then aluminum cans get attracted to number 6. And glass also is separated from aluminum and steel. And what's left behind is plastic, so that gets recycled.
Here's some example. You see exactly very well how the magnetic separator works.
And you can see human intervention for removing paper and cardboard. Okay, so this is an infographic on how waste is converted to energy. So on the left-hand side, you can see the blue truck is dumping waste into the waste pit, and then the crane picks up small amounts of waste, puts it in the hopper, and then it goes to the boiler. And inside the boiler, the waste is heated, and then the heat is used to power water. So water gets heated from that heat, and the water becomes steam, and then the steam goes to the turbine or the generator, and you can have electricity. Okay? And on the bottom, you can see that the waste then goes to a treatment plant, and it is called a induced draft fan, and that goes to the stack. And you also have some activated carbon, which takes away all the dangerous gases. And then finally, the carbon dioxide is disposed of from the chimney. Okay, so it's a very effective process in burning plastic, which cannot be recycled. And here we have an animation of the same process I described earlier. So you can see the truck drops the waste, and then it goes to the heater. And then from there you can see the steam producing electricity, and you can see the outlet to the chimney on the right-hand side.
And then you have the last one, the composter. So how it works, so put new material in the top of the door. So you put other fruits, vegetable inside. Then we have a rotate drum. We're going to rotate. Then have the process with the air and with dry things and with the bacteria and all the insects. We're going to process all of this, and then at the end you have compost. And then with this you can replant new seeds and have a healthy soil.
Okay, so the 4-step process for composting. And as you can tell, most of the compost comes from your kitchen, so it's biodegradable, and it turns into very high quality soil with a lot of nitrogen, and basically it's a very good fertilizer. So that's why you can plant trees in that soil.
Okay, let's see plastic problem in Thailand. We see here how the waste and the trash are recycled or handled.
So welcome back. So here we finally have your thinking tool, which is basically titled Journey of Trash. And as you can see on the left-hand side, we start with number 1, which is also step number 7, because it's a cycle. So you start with number 1, humans use plastic items, then they go to the recycling point, then they go to the sorting section, then they're transported and then processed, and finally the recycled plastic is sold. Okay? And then the section that cannot be recycled goes to the waste bin, and from the waste bin it goes to the landfill. Okay? So all these, so this is basically your thinking tool. You need to draw this. If this is too complex, you can try using the one on the right hand side, and that is also very similar. Okay? So draw this on an A4 size paper and make sure to write the headings. So plastic items bought and used, waste bin and littering, landfill. Okay, so you need to write those down as well. Okay, so reflective, where does the trash go? So you have all the answers, write this in your notebook. Then don't forget to write the meaning in Thai and in English on your notebook. And at the back of your thinking tool, make sure to perform or calculate the decimal problem. And also don't forget to do the diagram, which is journey of trash on an A4 size paper.
Okay, see you for the next video. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.